Listen to the vibes.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Vibes, and I'd love to welcome Andy Paige here, who is a soap opera actress, a podcast host herself, and you do some stuff on QVC, and we just got a whole lot of things going on. Tell me a little bit more about you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Kyle. I'm so happy to be with you on Vibes.
Thank
And it's true. I mean, I do have a lot going on. I've been in, I've had something to do in the media industry for about 4 decades of my life. So, I'm kind of here to talk about my role on General Hospital. If it's okay. The truth is, General Hospital is the longest running television show in TV history. It's been on for 61 years.
Wow.
And I am 54 years old, and this is my very first acting gig. So I have been going on this podcast tour because we're talking about all of the innovations that's actually happening within this show. Did you ever watch General Hospital?
No, my grandmother watched it, my mom watched it, and of course, as a kid, you come in and you'll see them watching it. So every once in a while, I'd sit down and catch a little bit of it. I remember little bits and pieces, but I haven't watched it since I was a kid.
Yeah, I actually watched it with my great grandmother as well. That's how I came to know the show. But everybody remembers like Luke and Laura, and they were made. I mean, that was huge, right? That was television history. And then the other big one, like, did you know that Elizabeth Taylor actually had a role on General Hospital?
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely a legacy show and something I mean, it was a pinch me moment. But this, like I said, it's my first acting job, but some of your listeners may know me from other things I've done. I was a beauty and style expert on a show called Starting Over for 3 years. I had my own show called Sense of Style. I've contributed to lots of shows like, 10 Years Younger and How Do I Look? I have a best-selling book called Style on a Shoestring. So I'm kind of a beauty and style expert, but lately I have been a guest host on QVC. And that is actually how I got my role on General Hospital. Do you ever watch The Q, Kyle?
I can't say that.
We have so much in common, Kyle. Well, my role on General Hospital, I am Pearl. That's my name, and that's my character's name. And I am actually a home shopping host. So I was plucked from QVC to play this role. And what's happening within the show is kind of crazy. So when it was pitched to me, they said to me, like, okay, what if you could have bought Fonzie's jacket, right? Or what if you could have, bought the hair care products that like Rachel and Monica and Phoebe had on Friends? Or, what if you could have shopped, for the sofa or the things on the wall of Sex and the City? So I was like, okay, I get it. So what has happened in television, and I know you're going to get this, is, we are all consuming television in a very different way. Right. We do our best to not watch the ads, and a lot of times we're streaming it. I mean, don't you stream TV?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we all hate the ads, but Kyle, it's called a soap opera for a reason. And that's because soap used to pay for it. the soap companies historically, sponsored a show, which means that they paid for the production, and advertising historically has paid for television for years. So with a legacy show like, General Hospital, it's like, okay, what do we do when we recognize that our 2 to 3 million viewers a day are slowly moving to streaming and we are losing ad revenue? So there has been a storyline within the General Hospital story called about Deception Beauty. And Deception Beauty is this cosmetic company that's, run by these amazing women, and they're gorgeous and they're high powered and they're backstabbing and like all the things. But they also, over the past 20 years, have created these amazing products that the viewers have been brought along on this journey. So they've watched, them apply for patents, and they've watched, packaging development, and they've watched, all of these things come to life within the storyline. So ABC, after much fan discussion, said, well, what if we brought Deception Beauty to life? Like, what if it was one way and we offered the fans an opportunity to engage and buy all these things that they have seen? So what has happened is Deception Beauty has become real, and Home and Heart is the fictional shopping network on General Hospital. And Kyle, did you see who my guest host is?
Who?
Morgan Fairchild.
Oh, no way. Morgan
Right!
Fairchild.
Morgan Fairchild. She's from Texas. You should know her. So
Yes.
Morgan Fairchild is the host, and I am the guest host on Home and Heart, the fictional shopping network. And when they have licensed and they are ready to bring items to for consumers to purchase, they come to Home and Heart within General Hospital on the show. And then we introduce them, we pitch them as I would on QVC. But then you can go to shophomeandheart.com and you can buy those products. So you can buy products that you've seen on the characters, whether it's, their handbags or their jewelry or, all of these things. So Kyle, this is an experiment, but if it works, I think it's going to completely change television, because I think every new show will start with the understanding that everything that they see around them is a consumable, and every show will have an adjoining website where people can actually consume and shop the show that they're watching.
Well, I like watching all the old shows, but yeah. I'm sure there's going to be something come on and be, oh man, I'd love to have that jacket or sunglasses or whatever they have on, and you'll actually be able to go on and buy it. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think so. And so it's both a way to kind of participate in the show, to, really get involved in a way, but it's also a way to support your show. So I was just at this major fan event. It's the largest General Hospital fan event in the country. It happens every year. This year it was in Memphis. Mm-hmm. And I was there with, mothers, daughters, and granddaughters who have all been watching the show for generations, right? Again, 61 years, a very long time. And they were all about it because they had their favorite characters, and the thought that they could, buy a purse that the character tends to wear, or buy a lipstick that the character always wears, or buy, something off the wall in their character's bedroom or something like that. It was actually really meaningful. So like I said, it's a big experiment. We think it's going to work. Shophomeandheart.com has been up and going now for 60 days. It's been successful. I'm doing all this promotion for it, just making people aware that, television is changing, everything's changing. This is just one more opportunity to kind of get involved. But I do think it's just a matter of time before all of the television that we consume is going to be shoppable.
So even the old shows?
Well, believe it or not, they are talking about that. So I believe another show that they're contemplating are shows like The Golden Girls. There are lots of consumer opportunities on that show. I know that they are actually working on that one. So I do believe that even the old shows are going to be able to offer opportunities for people to consume what they watch.
Some of the guys that I've interviewed that were on Ghost Hunters, those kind of shows, they try to start their own website and sell whatever, because they don't make a whole lot of money on these reality shows. But if they're able to do that and you're watching the reality show, that would be great for them as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just think about it. I mean, we hate ads. So this is a way, we all do. Especially, we're just getting through this election season, and I have had the TV off. Like, I am not interested in having all that toxic energy in my house. Mm-hmm. So, but that doesn't mean that we don't want to be entertained. So we just, are willing to do whatever's necessary to avoid ads, which I totally get. But we do have to understand that, television production is not free. It does come at a cost. So this is just one way to incorporate it so that, people feel like they're participating and not like they're being inundated with things they might not want.
Do you ever watch Psych?
I know the show, but I've never seen it. No. Do you love it?
Oh, I love this show. The guy's as goofy as I am. But he was wearing a T-shirt from a band called Whitesnake. I'm sure you've heard of
sure.
Whitesnake.
Yeah, of course. Are you kidding me? Tawny Katane on the top of that, like, Camaro, I think it was, of course.
Anyway, he's wearing this T-shirt, and I thought, man, it would be so great if I could find it. Well, I tried to look for it online. I was not able to find that particular one, but I did find the picture that he had on his T-shirt. Well, I had my daughter; she is able to put it into what is it called, PNG image, and make a transfer out of it and put it on a T-shirt. But I would have bought it if I'd have been able to find it. So why not? And I think we had talked a little bit before about how you could have bought Fonzie's jacket or something. That
Yeah. I mean,
as a
that would be amazing, right? If we could
right,
have done that, I think every teenage boy in America for 2 years would have had on Fonzie's jacket if that was something that we could naturally buy, right? And I think about, so, I'm a Sex and the City girl. I loved Sex and the City. And she had this poster in her apartment that I absolutely loved. I was obsessed over it. I could never figure out how to get it. It was like this beautiful love painting kind of poster. I still think about it. We're 20 years later. I'm still thinking about it. But that's another example of something that it captured my eye while watching the show. I always looked for it, and I wish I could have bought it. So yeah, I think we all might have those little things.
so what else are they going to come up with?
Well, I mean, I do think that they are going to have to become a little more creative as we are streaming more, to be perfectly honest. I do think that they are into creating, like, what else is next. I mean, to be honest, I was just at this event, right, where all of these fans were incredibly engaged, and they wanted so much to meet the people they had been watching for a long time. So I actually think at one point we may even be able to live stream television with some of our favorite characters and talk to them. I think that might be another thing that we eventually have or see. So yeah, I think there's probably lots of things in the work that I'm not aware of that will keep people engaged and motivated to keep watching the show.
Something else to keep us glued to the television and in our
Yeah.
seats, right?
Yeah. But I mean, not, yeah, in our seat, but think about it. I mean, people are watching General Hospital on their phone on the way to work.
Right.
You don't have to be glued to the sofa. There's lots of ways to do it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the whole point now. We can take it, we can be entertained anywhere.
Well, as we're recording this, it's very early in November, but I understand you are coming to Houston.
I am. I'm coming to Houston. We are, I talk about Deception Beauty. Believe it or not, our Deception Beauty company, one of the company that's making all of the cosmetics on behalf of Deception Beauty, actually is in Houston. So we're doing a huge launch party in a couple of weeks with the ABC affiliate in Houston. So I will be coming to Houston and enjoying this amazing launch party with, both the company and influencers and some other celebrities and local people. I think there's going to be a band, but I'm very excited. I love Houston. I think it's fantastic.
Well, we welcome you to the great state of Texas.
Yeah. Oh, I love Texas. I mean, come on. Texas is awesome. I think it's a fantastic place. So, but I am looking forward to coming in and meeting some of the fans and doing that as well. And, I mean, I know you don't wear any cosmetics, but it's really fun to be a part of something that, makes women feel a little more confident and, anyway, so all that stuff. I know your wife and your daughter would enjoy it. Maybe they should come.
They probably will. So
Awesome.
where is it going to be at?
You're catching me off guard. I'm not 100% sure. I'm so sorry. I should be able to say it's going to be at this restaurant. I do know it is Saturday the 16th. It is from 6 to 10, and it is in a restaurant downtown in Houston. But I am coming to Houston. I'll be doing a segment live on the ABC affiliate, so I will be talking about it there as well. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry that I don't know exactly where, but I don't.
Well, if you can find out where it's at, send it to me and I'll put it in the description. So
you are so sweet.
Anybody catches it before that time, maybe they can come down and see you.
I will definitely do that. I will definitely do that. That's awesome. I love being a part of your podcast. You've been doing it for so long. What keeps you motivated to keep doing this podcast, Kyle?
Wow. I ended up getting a disease in my spine, and I had to retire early, and I didn't want to just lay around and do nothing. And I met an actor who inspired me to do something to inspire other people. And I'm not going to lie, I got a little burned out was going through some stuff health wise that I took a little break, and something hit me not too long ago. It says you need to get back at it again, and I'm just chugging along. And then plus I get to meet so many wonderful people, and I don't get to get out very often. So this is kind of my outlet as well.
I love that. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Am I your first guest with this new revamp?
Oh no, actually I've been back at it for about a week now.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And how is your health? Are you feeling better?
Well, I'll be like this for the rest of my life, but I have my ups and downs, and sometimes it's a little worse than other times. But got some great doctors here that are taking good care of me. So,
Well, that's good. You know, what you still have is a great voice. You
oh,
still have a fabulous voice. I love your voice. And you still have the ability to reach, like you say, thousands, millions of people. So I'm so glad that you're still working on behalf of something good. I think that's fantastic.
well, hopefully someone, even if it's only one person that watches the video, if it inspires them, then I've done what I've set out to do. But
Aw.
yeah, luckily the numbers are starting to grow and doing a lot better. So who knows how many
Well,
people?
my grandmother used to say, you don't eat the fruit the same day you plant the seed. So you've
Yeah,
obviously planted lots of seeds, and I love that it's just starting to bear a little fruit. So you're doing the absolute right thing.
thank you. I don't get a whole lot of messages, but when I get that one message that somebody says thank you, so and so that you brought on the show really helped me, that makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, of course it does. That's our goal, is to be in service. So people often ask me about my career and how it all happened. And they want to know, how much money I've made. And I'm like, for me, my life, I was raised in a really small town in Alabama. I'm a high school dropout. I dropped out of high school at 17. I'm really fortunate that God made me tall, because if he had not made me tall, then my road to New York would have never happened. But I moved to New York as a high school dropout at 17. I got into school. And I thought I was going to be a sportscaster, but life took so many twists and turns. But what I have always believed is that I walk in faith. And as long as I walk in faith, and with every situation, I do my best. I try my hardest. I show up on time. I try to make every situation a little better than how I, got there, or how it came to me. So people know that, they can depend on me, and that I'm going to do my best. And those seeds, lead you to a bigger and better life, which it sounds like is exactly what's happened to you. Every road leads to something new. So you just never know.
You started doing the QVC thing, and then they found you, but what got you into doing the thing on QVC?
Yeah. So very interestingly, I talk about planting the seeds. I actually auditioned for QVC when I was 25 years old, so a very long time ago. And I went through the process, but I never made it to air. But I learned a lot. And then over COVID, some of the producers and people that I had worked with actually on QVC reached out to me and was like, we recognize that you know how to do, your hair, your makeup, your lighting. You could probably do this from home. And during COVID, we need people who can be a guest host and manage all that from home. And so I was like, sure. So I started actually working again for QVC, or working for the first time, but working really for QVC in my 50s, after 25 years after I had gone through, that huge, exhaustive audition process, and then never made it to air. So that's how it started. Is they just needed people with certain gifts and talents during COVID, and that's led to me being, in studio more and more. I don't think I'll ever be an actual full-time host there, because to be a full-time host there, you have to live within 20 miles of the studio. And I just don't want to. It's actually done in Westchester, Pennsylvania, which is like in the middle of nowhere. It's a little crazy. But I can't imagine myself, doing that. But I love being a guest host. However, what happened was, I have done tons of reality television, so tons. And in doing that, you work with a lot of producers. The show that I did starting over, I worked with 5 different producers, 5 to 7 days a week. So there was just a huge like stable of amazing producers that I worked with, and they all go on to do different shows and different things. And here it is, 20 something years later, after doing that show, I had a producer that I worked with who saw on LinkedIn that I was now a guest host on QVC. And she's like, I know this is crazy, but we have this role as a guest host within the General Hospital storyline. Do you think you can act? And I was like, well, I did take that one class in college. But when they told me the role, they wanted someone a little Southern. They wanted someone, very different than Morgan Fairchild, a little younger, a little darker, the whole thing. I was like, well, it kind of does sound like me. So I feel like I can do it. I've learned that acting is really hard. And let me just tell you that soap operas are not like any other acting in the world. They shoot anywhere from 50 to 60 scenes a day, literally a day. It is baptism by fire. My first day on set, I was in scene 47 and 49 of that day. I mean, it is crazy. It's crazy. So I have learned a lot about, just the extraordinary work that goes into producing 250 hours of television a year. For this amazing legacy show. I mean, you don't realize that there's probably 200 people, maybe even more, that support this show, whether it's hair, makeup, technical, editing. I mean, it's a lot. So I had those producers, I talk about, like I said, trying to take every opportunity and seeing it just that, giving your best, leaving a good impression and never burning a bridge. So QVC is a perfect example of me not burning a bridge. And my opportunity with General Hospital is also an example of me not burning a bridge and, leaving hopefully good thoughts and memories of my work, so much so that they reached out to me and within 3 days I had the gig.
And what's even more special is a lot of soap operas have been taken off the air. So for them to still be going, that's pretty good.
It is, but I will tell you that pendulum is actually swinging back.
Really?
They are introducing a new daytime soap opera actually in January. And what's happening is I believe people have become really kind of tired of news and magazine type shows and just all of the opinions of all of these people. And they want to re-engage in a story. And so, believe it or not, there's one that's launching and another one that's slated. So there's possibly 2 new soap operas, if you will, or daytime dramas that are slated to launch in 2025. So I do actually think that's changing. And it's really interesting. You're going to love this, and I know you're going to get it. When I talked to my husband about this, he was like, I just can't believe people watch soap operas anymore. I was like, oh, really? Excuse me, did you enjoy Yellowstone? And he was like, well, of course. And I'm like, that's a soap opera. I was like, what about Suits? Like, he loves Suits. It's like one of his favorite. He goes, of course. And I'm like, that's a soap opera. Like, that kind of character development and storyline and all of that. It's, so it's the only difference is it takes place in daytime. So I do think that more and more people are interested in, the written word and, this kind of thing. So they're moving away from all of the chat shows that have just become so political and opinionated, and people are now, I think, turning back to scripted television.
Yeah, I think people are kind of tired of Whoopi Goldberg and all those other ones.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, there's several of those shows that are being canceled. So there are, you're not going to see them next year. So there is an end to a lot of that. There's an end to a lot of that. I mean, I don't know about The View specifically, but I do know about 3 others that it's just coming to an end. So.
Well, I don't watch a whole lot of new shows, but I do like Yellowstone. I like Tulsa King and Mayor of Kingstown.
Yeah. So you're talking about Taylor Sheridan. He's amazing. And he's a Texas guy. So I have a lot of respect for Taylor Sheridan as well. He does an amazing job.
Well, I don't want to make this show about me, but I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And you can help me and a lot of other people, hopefully. Now, I know this is a lot different genre, but I did a pilot episode for a reality show. And the guy who was directing, he did that show where, they say, hey, move that bus, and they show you the house or whatever.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Can't remember the name of it. But anyway,
Ty Paddington or Ty
something
Pennington?
like Ty Pennington
Yeah.
he's the guy that was the star, but the director from that show was directing
Okay.
us. And he was trying to get us to play the straight role instead of being the jokesters who we really are. And I told my buddy, I said, I don't think this is going to work, man. We're not being ourselves. But of course, they didn't pick it up. But what advice would you give to people like me who want to get into maybe doing something like that?
Yeah. So you are correct. I mean, reality television is about being your own character. And so the more entrenched you are with being yourself and the more unique and different that is, the better. So I'm always shocked to hear that anyone would prevent you from being more of who you are, and whether it's a goofy person or a jokester, whatever it is. So that is shocking. But if Texas has lots of opportunity for casting, lots. As people are moving from Los Angeles, they're going to Tennessee and Texas. So if you want to get into this world, I highly encourage you to think about joining an app called Backstage. And Backstage, you can filter through your state, and you can filter through your state and the opportunities in your state, and you can find out what's going on in Texas. And then you show up, and just like everything in life, one connection leads to another connection, leads to another connection. But if it's something that you want to do, you certainly have an audience, and there's no reason why you shouldn't. So if you want to develop an actual show yourself, then what you'd want to do is come up with, what they call a one page, which is an explanation of the show that you'd like to do. And then you can pitch that to production companies. And there are lots of production companies in Texas. So there's a few ways to go about it. You can go about it being an extra or a cast member or a player on something that's being produced in Texas, or you can pitch production companies your own ideas.
Andy, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm going to put your links in the description. Now, do you have a website?
Of course. For more information about anything that I do, any of my products or services or anything, you can go to andypaige.com. I encourage your listeners to go to shophomeandheart.com and, just take a peek at this experiment and all the opportunities and products that are available that revolve around General Hospital. Again, yes, it is still on the air 61 years later, and we hope that this experiment is going to turn into something permanent.
Awesome. Again, I will put those in the description. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this time.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was nice to meet you, Kyle. Thank you so much for showing up.
Appreciate you. And I also want to thank all you folks out there. If you are new to the channel, I hope you'll come back. Please hit that subscribe button. For my regulars, you guys are awesome because you make it possible for me to do this. Until the next one, everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network